Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at CDSK by Randolph Games.
CDSK is a trivia game in which you are going to be giving out a number between 1 and 10 as to how well you might know a particular topic before you're given the question that you need to try to answer. Now, this game is going to range from all sorts of different topics, but the great thing about it is that you get to determine just how difficult your trivia question on that topic is. So if you think you really know a lot about unicorns, let's say, then you might say a 10, knowing that that's going to be a really difficult question. And on the other hand, if you don't know hardly anything about quantum mechanics, you might say a 1 and know that you're probably going to get a really easy question that just about anybody could answer. That's the great thing about this one. Let's go down to the table where I can show you how this game works in more detail, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have CDSK on the table. Let me show you about this trivia game. Now, I do have the full box out here because you actually use the box to play this game. And really what you do is you just flip open the flap here and you unfold it, and there you go. Boom, you are set up, ready to go. As you can see, the board is part of the box here, and your questions are held in these different compartments here, and you're just ready to go like that. And that's all there is for the components. You've got the box board, you've got the questions. You do not have player pawns or team pawns. You do have to supply those for yourself. That's just the way this game is. It's just one little quirky aspect of the game. So to help me to demonstrate the rules here, I've got my Homestar Runner friends here. Homestar Runner got me through junior high. I've got the cheat, Homestar Runner himself, Strong, Bad, and Marzipan. And you will have teams in this game, or you could just play it where everybody is their own team. And you are going to decide if you want to do the classic start, starting way down here at the end of the line, or if you want to do the express start, starting halfway through the trail. Either way, your choice. The express start obviously will be a quicker game, and so you'll put everybody there, and starting with whoever is going to be the first player, they will get a question asked of them to the player next to them. And so we are all on one of the C spaces here that's dark blue, and that's important because that corresponds to what question you get asked. And so we would draw a question card from the dark blue questions, and it's going to have a topic up here at the top. For instance, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you know desserts? And so the person whose turn it is would have to answer that scale of 1 to 10, 1 being something that will be very easy for them to answer, such as, are the chips and chocolate chip cookies the tears of a lonely chocolate giant? Yes or no? Obviously, that's going to be super easy, and you will be able to answer the 1 question all the time. And the 10 question would be extremely difficult. What Iranian dessert is made from cold noodles and rosewater syrup? If you know the answer to that, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I'm not going to show you the answers. Just know that they're on the back side of the card real quick, and they do correspond to each of these different numbers. And so, again, the person would give you a number between 1 and 10, and you would get asked that question that corresponds to that number. If you are correct, you move forward that number of spaces. So let's say maybe they answer number 4 here. Where in Europe should you go for a bowl of sweet chili gelato? And if they are correct, then they would move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Simple as that. Obviously, you would move this question card to the back of the box, and you'd go on to the next person. But when it came back around to the cheat's turn, Team Cheat here, they would get asked a question from the light blue side because they are on a light blue S space. And they would, same idea, they would answer questions based off of what is on that particular card. Again, giving a number 1 to 10 to how well they know crime novels. That's the gist of this game. You have questions for the yellow spaces, you have questions for the purple spaces, but these spaces right here that look like a lightning bolt movie ticket looking space, those are going to be a little bit different. I'll give you an example here. Just know that this is not the case for all of these questions. This is just a type of question that you could expect here on these challenge questions. Put the following objects in chronological order according to the date they were created. Advance 8 spaces if you answer correctly. So this idea of having to put these items in a correct list is an option for what this question might look like. Another possibility is give the names of celebrities named either Kate, Katie, Catherine, or variation on those names. You get a maximum of 10 answers, advance 1 space per correct answer. So generally speaking, these are questions that you're going to be able to move lots of spaces all at once. So it may be important to you to want to try and land on these spaces. That's the whole gist of the game. You're going to be advancing down the line, hopefully trying to get to this hurry up and win spot. Now, just because you get here does not mean that you automatically win the game. On your next turn, you will have to answer one of these hurry up and win questions. Celeb talk. Which of the following statements isn't true? And then you would go through all of these, and they would have to answer it, trying to figure out what the correct one is. If you are correct, you're the first person to answer the question on this spot, then you do win the game. That is how you play CDSK. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. All right, and we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on CDSK from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, this is a trivia game, and trivia games are ones that we have not really reviewed too much here on Love to Hate for whatever reason. I think it's kind of
I think trivia games can be so hobby specific.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to ask friends to play a Friends-themed trivia game when they've never seen the TV show.
I mean, you
know?
might. But.
Yeah, well, but that's like, it's very specific to what those people are interested in.
It's very niche, and a lot of people either like trivia or don't like trivia. I think this is a different take on trivia because, one, like we said in the intro of the video,
picking your level.
You pick your level as to what the topic is, right? So you're kind of calling your own shot in this game, which I think opens itself up to a lot of people to be able to, it welcomes a lot of people into it, right? We played this with your family over the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, we've played this. Gosh, I think we played
Several
this at least 3 or 4 times since our son got it. Lance gives each kid a board game for Christmas, and this was our oldest son's game.
He wanted a trivia game.
Yeah. And he's trivia is his thing, but it's so hard. Like Trivial Pursuit is just a little too up there for him. But this, I think, was perfect. We've played just me and Lance and all 4 kids. We put everybody on teams. Obviously, our 4-year-old was not on his own team. And we've played with other adults and my parents. And I think that this has been a hit for everybody every time. Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about this game is that it seems to naturally produce competitive games, right? Because everybody feels like they're contributing to their own success or non-success, if you want to look at it that way, because again, I get to say what number I feel on particular topic. And so if I see I'm getting behind and I'm not super confident in this topic and I know I need to get points, well, I'm going to say maybe a 2 or a 3 just so that I get a little bit somewhere. And so it naturally just produces these competitive, exciting games where everybody's got a shot to win it towards the end. And I think there's so many little things that were thought about. The whole board game is, I mean,
it just,
there's the game.
Right,
so
exactly.
Everything, there's no setup. And it encourages, I mean, you have to use your own pieces. So our son, who has lots of little Mario pieces and Lego pieces, they love to bring their pieces and be like, this is you and this is me. And they even thought about the express start. So instead of doing the whole thing, if you just want a quick little trivia, which that's what we've done more often than not, because with 4 kids, there's only the attention span is short. We've done the express start, and it's still a good, solid game. Yeah,
it's a full experience even at that express start. And I think the really fun thing that we haven't said about this game that I think needs to be said is that there are built-in ways to kind of break up the monotony of question, answer, right? Like, so there's those really fun, I forget the challenge questions. I can't remember what exactly they're called off the top of my head right now, but you know, you get that give me so many answers in 60 seconds, right? Or true or false.
Go a space for each correct answer.
Yeah. And that's just a fun little thing that breaks up that constant cycle of question, answer.
And so sometimes instead of like thinking I need to get ahead to these people, sometimes you think I just need to get to those challenge questions because then that's your chance to kind of catch up a little bit.
Make a huge movement. So there is strategy in that. You might not want to pass up over one of those and go for a smaller number so you can land on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to pros and cons here for CDSK, which, by the way, we haven't said it yet. That stands for Curious, Delightful, Seasoned Knowledge. Not that that really matters, but I thought people out there would probably want to know what CDSK stands
it's
for.
Odd. I think their naming might deter people a little bit. They'd be like, "What the heck is this?"
I don't know. Yeah,
but I think it does say like there's no theme to it.
Yeah, no, it's just straight trivia, and it can be on anything.
Literally anything.
So Sam, you're coming at this from a non-gamer side, which this is a trivia game again, and we've kind of we talked about that just briefly that. Gamers, non-gamers might look at trivia a little bit different.
Yeah.
So for you as a non-gamer, what stands out in a good way for you about this game?
The question and answer part of it, which is the whole thing, is just so unique. Getting to choose your level, I've never seen that in another trivia game before, and it just changes so much the ability for everybody to play.
Yeah.
You can easily, our 9-year-old can easily go in, and sometimes we'll be like, hey, you might want to, you're kind of overkilling that. You probably don't know that much about horses like you think you do. And so kind of help them pick that level a little bit. But the ones most people can answer, a 9-year-old can answer.
Right.
And I just think that's so nice to be able to, it's not just simply like, well, I don't know. And that's the end of it. You have you get to choose your level. Yeah,
I think that that is obviously the main thing about this game. The selling point with this game is that numbering system. But gosh, it works so well. And it like we said, it feels like anybody feels like they can be a part of this game and contribute because, again, I can say a 3 if I'm not super confident. I can say a 1 if I know absolutely nothing and feel like, I'm going to get 1 on it because the ones are just obvious answers. Or I can go high and just really test myself on that. So another thing that we mentioned is that Express Start. It really kind of gives you the option to play shorter or longer games, and the shorter game does feel like a full experience. I think that's a very good pro for it. And you do, when you play it in teams, I think this is an opportunity for a lot of teamwork and team building to kind of say, that's a topic you know more than I know on, and so I'm going to let you kind of say the number on it, and I'll try to help you as best I can. So there's that opportunity to get some good teamwork in there. Anything about it that maybe doesn't work so great?
I don't think so. I really think as far as trivia games, trivia has never been something that I'm known for. Like, that's just not something that we ever play. So the fact that we've already played this at least 4 times that I can think of, I mean, in a month, 4 times in 3 weeks. I think that says everything you need to know about it. It's definitely a game that we're going to continue to play. It's a great party game. You can play with pretty much as many people as you want, especially if you break up into teams and things like that, which I think makes it that much more fun. So no, I really think that they thought about everything, and it's a fantastic trivia game.
Yeah, the only thing I'll throw out there as a con, and I think this is just going to be true of about 99% trivia games out there, is that, and maybe slightly more so in this because there is like 10 questions on each card. I don't know if all the questions are created equal, and what I mean by that is like a 6 on one thing doesn't feel like a 6 on another thing. And that might just be because it's a topic that's more well known.
The CDSK Curious, that goes through the different color cards there are. So like dark blue is curious, that's very precise or bizarre subjects.
Yeah.
So that's like that. Most people aren't going to know 10s on those.
Yeah.
D is delightful. Movies, music, sports. Some people could definitely get 10s. You ask me a Marvel question, I'll probably get 7 or 8. S, or the light blue is seasoned, grown-up stuff, school of life. Our kids probably aren't going to know some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then purple is knowledge, science, nature, history, and geography. And some people may be very good at that.
Exactly.
Our son is actually pretty good at those questions.
So I think if you understand that aspect of it, then that what I just said probably isn't going to bother you too much. But if you're just a random person who's been asked to sit down and play this and you don't understand that, or you didn't have somebody explain that to you, I think that could be something that's like, well, that wasn't fair. My 6 was a lot harder than your 6. There's a potential for that to happen.
I do think there's a good mix, though. There's a good mix of different types of trivia, and it's not just geared towards one thing.
Right. Okay, so let's get to a final score for this one. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where does CDSK come in at for you?
I mean, are we putting this in the same category as all other board games?
Well, so here's my thing on that, because I'll be honest with y'all. I own only one other trivia board game, and that is Half Truth, and it's a game that I really enjoyed. I backed that on Kickstarter. It's a Richard Garfield game, and I think, it's hard for me to have a separate scale just for trivia games because it's just not one that I typically play too much.
Game
yes,
category.
I would say this. Let's scale this more on like a party game scale.
So I'm not putting this with all of this stuff.
It's not a strategy game. There may be a little bit of strategy.
But as far as like trivia party games, I would rate this, this is very high. I think I'd give it an 8.4.
Oh, wow.
Like this is probably, I would play this right now. I would, it's a great game.
Right in the middle of the video. Yeah. Okay, 8.4.
Yeah.
What maybe keeps it from being higher?
I think just the fact that it's a trivia game.
It's a very niche kind of thing, right?
Yeah, but I just think the fact that we can play it with all of our kids, and we've played it with our best friends and parents and siblings, and everyone's enjoyed it. It's easy for everyone to understand. I could probably go higher.
Okay.
Higher. We're gonna stick with 8.4 though.
Well, I'm gonna say that this is just a straight 8 for me. I really, really like this one, and in fact, I mentioned that other trivia game, Half Truth. And the concept of that was there were multiple correct answers out of a multiple choice, and you had to try to figure out how many of those multiple answers were right. And that was a kind of a unique, innovative way to do trivia. And I think this is just as innovative. It's just unique, and it's so fresh and a different spin on trivia that I really am on board with this.
Yeah.
So it's not going to leave our collection. I mean, it's our son's game, so we can't get rid of it. But even if it wasn't, it's not going to leave our collection. We really enjoy this one, and like Sam said, we've been playing it a lot. So the game is CDSK, Curious, Delightful, Seasoned Knowledge, and it is from Randolph. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this one.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.